Now, watching your baby take their first steps is a magical moment for mums and dads, but lots of them worry about when is the right time for toddlers to hit the milestone. I mean, it's like when you go to those antenatal classes, or it'll be afternatal, wouldn't it? Postnatal. And they're all comparing notes about my little...
And it gets competitive.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, I love that. Well, new research has found the age at which infants learn to walk is actually genetic. You can't encourage them, you can't teach them. I suppose you could encourage them.
No carrots?
Well, carrots, you're very healthy.
I mean, like...
chocolate buttons.
Carrots and sticks, but not sticks, obviously.
Yeah. Scientists have analysed the data from more than 70,000 babies and identified almost a dozen genetic markers that influence when they actually take their first steps. Let's take a look.
7, 8, 9, yay! Stand it up. Stand it up. Go.
Pat the leg, Jemima. Pat the leg. You see pat the leg. Clever girl. Come on.
Come on, Mum. Come on, Mum.
See you later.
It's like me on Saturday night. We're joined now by Professor Angelica Ronald, who was a senior researcher on this study, as well as Vicky Russell, who runs an early years group. Morning to both of you. And Vicky, some of the babies we've just seen, they were among the young walkers in your group.
They were, yes. Very lovely to see them taking their first steps.
See them teetering and tottering all over the place.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We're really privileged to have lots of babies take their first steps in our classes, actually, because they're just inspired by what's going on and they forget all about the danger and they just let go of Mum's hand and come and see us.
That's so cute.
Really
so,
lovely.
Angelica, what prompted the research?
Yeah, well, it's such a massive event, isn't it, when it happens? But it can be nerve-wracking waiting as a parent for that magic moment. And there's such a wide variation in when children take their first step without support. I mean, it can happen any time from as early as 8 months up to as late as 18 months. And we're really curious to understand what causes that variation and what it means. So we did this big genetic study of 70,000 infants, really lucky to work with them. And we uncovered the genes involved. So we knew that environment was important, and environment still is important, so parents can help their children practice, give them room to move around. But you can't completely control it, so it is partly down to genetics. So in a way, I think that's helpful to know that it's partly an inherited predisposition as well.
So if mums and dads watching right now and are worried that their 12-month-old or 15-month-old hasn't taken first steps, what's your message to them?
Yeah, I don't think there's much in it in terms of when in those months the child actually takes their first step. It will be to do with how their brain is developing. If they're really late, then it is good to see the GP if they're not walking by 18 months. But in that middle range, I think it's totally fine. So unlike later life, where we're all racing to be sort of first, it doesn't actually matter within those months when the child does it.
And Vicky, you mentioned that you will provide like a safe space for babies to be encouraged to feel confident. What other things can mums and dads do?
Well, for us, one of the most important things is that babies crawl first. We really want our babies to crawl because it makes such a strong connection between the left brain and the right brain, which is going to set them up for sort of all their physical, gross motor activities through life, like climbing and dancing and sports. So we want them to crawl. So what we encourage in our classes is get the mums to do lots of tummy time with their babies, make sure that the tummy time is really effective so that babies crawl, and then they naturally progress from the crawling to coming over to an object. They'll pull themselves up, and that's when they start cruising around the furniture, and the next thing they'll be letting go and taking those first independent steps.
And life is never the same again.
Never the same
Tummy
again.
time, so that's literally just lying the baby on the front.
Popping them on their tummy, yes, but it's very, very difficult because new parents are all told they need to do tummy time, but babies don't actually like tummy time because it's really physically hard work for them. Their heads, when they're tiny, are a third of their body weight, so it's really challenging for them. So we teach parents about how to make it short, sweet, maximum encouragement, maximum entertainment while they're doing it. And what we're looking for is encouraging tiny babies to lift their heads, start extending their arms, extending their back, and then they'll start bringing their knees up underneath them. So we want them to bring up that strength, that core strength and stability to be able to crawl.
And Angelica, when you look at the genetics of this, does it follow that a baby who has the genes to walk early would be maybe sportier or a faster runner? Or, what is the gene? What's the connection?
I don't think the genetic associations will be that strong. We think that it might be the case that babies that are predisposed to be a bit more active are going to walk earlier, but I don't think there's necessarily the best time to walk.
I thought that your position in the family... You're getting nervous watching these. I'm worried about the edges.
Makes me very edgy.
But I wondered whether, the child's position in the family was quite influential as well. That if you've got a baby that's a younger sibling, they want to walk because they want to do the same as older brother or sister, or maybe the opposite's true, that some of them would rather just sit there and be fed rather than have to go and find food. Yeah,
that's an interesting hypothesis. We might have to test that. But what I would say actually about siblings is because it's genetic and siblings don't share all of their genes, we wouldn't necessarily expect the siblings in a family to walk at exactly the same age because they'll have inherited slightly different genes from each other. So there's no problem if siblings are a little bit different from one another. That makes sense in terms of our findings.
And you mentioned it's about connecting the baby's right and left brain. What other things can mums and dads do to help with that?
We teach mums to do sort of things to prepare the left brain, right brain connection. So we do things that encourage things like cross crawling. So we take get parents to take the opposite hand to the opposite leg. And it's just building up that muscle memory so that once baby's got the strength physically to hold themselves up in that quadruped position, then they've got the connection already started to form between the left brain and the right brain so that they can then sort of move those opposite arms and opposite legs simultaneously.
Well, look, thank you so much, both of you, for coming in. It's really, really interesting. Do you want to see some more baby pictures?
Always want to see more baby pictures. Should we just run baby pictures for the next hour?
Yeah, you've been sending us in some brilliant pictures this morning of your babies taking their first steps. Who's this?
This is Harris from Argyll and Bute when he first started to walk. Granny Mag sent this picture saying he was so proud of himself. Look!
Sort of levitating there, isn't he? Baby Ella here, taking her first steps almost on the very same day that her big sister learnt to ride a bicycle. A big day of firsts in their family. So there's big sister on a bike clapping away.
That is brilliant. And this is Storm showing off her skills and walking with full confidence at just 10 months old.
It is amazing when you see these back-to-back, isn't it?
Incredible, yeah.
Finding your feet, of course, can be hard work. Manny in Northampton was a bit unsteady at first, but nothing can keep him down.
Never give up, I think, is the phrase, isn't it?
You fall down, you get up again.
And look at this. This little one took her first steps at Orlando Airport before having to sit still for 9 hours on a flight home to the UK. Can you imagine that?
Very assured.
I can walk, and they're going to strap me in a chair now.
Thank you so much for those. We'd love to see more before the end of the programme. We've been talking about babies taking their first steps this morning, and apparently it's all in the genes.
It is, it's genetic. Let's have a look at Magnus, who is learning to walk on his own. Fine knee action there, Magnus.
Very stable, isn't it? We've loved getting these videos from you this morning. Aya Rose took her first steps only last week. Breaking news. Here we go.
Look.
Exclusive video. And now here she is walking around everywhere.
And this is Ella. She's actually walking and laughing. That's a good skill to learn.
Multi-skilling.
Yes.
And here, finally, is Zion putting one foot in front of the other at 10 months old.
They are all very young and very advanced, clearly genius babies.
Genius. See what you did there. Thank you for all of those. That's it from Breakfast Today.